This is ramen, mayonnaise, tuna, Doritos. Did I say mayonnaise? Ramen, mayonnaise, tuna, Doritos. Becca, can you hand me the carrots, please? Right now.
I'm busy, so you can wait.
So this is my breakfast. This is a common staple in prison in California. You take a ramen and you throw all kinds of stuff in it, and you eat it. Wish I had more stuff. I wish I had some sriracha, or I have carrots. If Becca would give me the carrots. Okay. Carrots, also a prison staple in California, anyways. I don't know about other prisons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Serving size. 1 for my mouth. Yeah. Okay, here you put them away, please.
You can put them away.
Okay. Fine. This is the one I actually had. This is a different ramen. This is a Tapatio ramen. This one I had last night. Eating a lot of ramen like in prison because it's cheap and we're poor. I don't like eating ramen all the time. It's gonna be hard eating and like vlogging at the same time. So last night I had this Tapatio ramen, but I had a can of sardines, Louisiana hot sauce sardines. That's pretty good. I had 2 bags of chips. I had hot Cheetos and actually 3 hot Cheetos. I had Doritos and some Lay's because Walmart sells bags of chips for 50 cents. So Beck and I shared some. So it's important to note when I say prison ramen, there's 2 kinds of food in prison. I think I might have told you guys this before. There's the food that the prison gives you. I thought I had something in my eye. There's the food that prison gives you, and the food that the inmates make for themselves. This is the food the inmates make for themselves. The prison doesn't give you this. Delicious. Becca's watching the guys clean the pool, fantasizing about the pool guys. Anyways, so this is food that prisoners make for themselves. Now, how they get that is there's little stores in prison called either canteen or commissary. Different prisons call them different things. Let's just say canteen or commissary. I think where I was at they call it commissary. I don't remember. Anyways, there's a little store, not like a store like on the streets, not like a store you think of. It's just like it's like a room, and they have stuff in there. It's not a big store. You don't walk inside of it. It's a room where they have like ramen, chips, toothpaste. I don't remember what they had. Deodorant. Just little oddities. Maybe candy. I don't remember. Candy. Maybe soda. Things that the inmates can buy, right? And you walk up to the window. And back then, remember, I was incarcerated from 2000 to 2006. Gotta take a bite. Back then, think you filled out a paper. So okay, so so you don't have money in prison. You don't have cash money in prison. You don't have credit cards. You don't have debit cards. You don't have cash. None of that, right? So what happens is like okay, let's just say I was locked up right now, or back then, 2003. Let's just say I was locked up in 2003. Let's say Becca was my girlfriend, right? And she comes to the prison to visit me. She has money, real money, American money, right? So she comes to prison to visit me, and when she's there, while she's in, like, coming through the process, like, going through the, because when you come in, oh, who are you? What's your name? Who are you here to visit? All this, the registration or whatever you want to call it, right? She would go in there. Oh, I'm here to see so and so. Okay. And while she's there, she's like, oh, say she has $20. She's like, oh, I want to put $20 on Matt V's books, the guy I'm here to see. Okay. So she basically gives the money to them, and they put it into an account for me. Like, so basically, every prisoner has a bank account through the prison. And so your friends or family or girlfriend, or like in my case, my dad would put money on my books. They call it my account for me. And then I could use that money in the prison store. That's how it worked. And so back then, I believe, like they had like a canteen form and has like a list of all the stuff on there. Like they have chips and ramen, different kinds of ramen, whatever snacks and hygiene products they have. And so you check off on the paper. You check off the things you want. You're like, oh, I want a case of ramen. Like, I want 25 ramen, I want deodorant, I want this and that. You check off all the things, right? And then when you go to the canteen window, like I said, you don't walk inside the room. You just go to the window, and there's like an employee in there, maybe some inmate staff in there, maybe. But there's an employee there. You hand them that, and then they ask for your identification card, because every prisoner has an identification card. You give them that so they can access your books, your account, and then they dock it off of your account, basically. So that's how that works. So you never, as a prisoner, you never access money anymore. I think like in the 70s and stuff, they might have had a cash, but by the time I got locked up in the 2000s, that wasn't a thing anymore. It's on an account. So anyhow, as a prisoner, you get money on your books. If your family or friends or whoever sends you money, and then you can buy stuff, right? And one of the more popular things in prison is ramen. Big commodity, a staple. I mean, it's so much of a staple that it's basically like money. So say you have ramen, say you have like a case of ramen, 24, 25, whatever comes in a case, you could use that to barter, or even if you have one or two ramens, whatever. Like say ramen's, whatever, I got the carrots back in the fridge. Whatever a pack of ramen sells for in the prison commissary, that's how much that ramen is worth. So let's just say it was 50 cents for a pack of ramen, right? And say you want to buy something from another inmate. Like sometimes people draw, like some people, they draw pictures and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'd like to buy a picture from you because you draw. That's their hustle. Maybe they draw pictures, or they make little things, or for gambling. Sometimes people gamble. Yeah, let's just say that. Say you want to play a card game and everyone's going to gamble. Well, you don't have money in prison, so you use ramen. So it's like, okay, well, what's the ante for this game? Let's say $1. Let's say, okay, well, ramen's 50 cents, or let's say ramen's 25 cents a pack. So everybody has to pony up 4 ramens. So you might see, you literally might go to like a poker table or something, and you see like stacks of ramen on the table. It's because they're betting that. They're not waiting to eat necessarily. They're betting that. And so if you win, you get everybody's ramen. And then you could use that. So say you win, and say 4 people are playing. I'm trying to take a bite. Say 4 people are playing. Everybody has to chip in $1, so 4 ramens. And you win. So you get 4 times 4, you get 16 ramens, right? Or $4 worth of ramen. So now you can take that $4 worth of ramen that you won in gambling and poker and buy, I don't know, cigarettes, or, like I said, a drawing, or other snack food items. Say you take that $4 in ramen, you're like, oh, you know what, I want a bag of chips, and someone else has a bag of chips, and they're like, oh, I'll sell it to you for $3. Oh, okay, well, then you give them $3 worth of ramen. So bartering is still a thing in prison because you don't have access to actual cash. Well, usually you don't. I mean, someone might have illegally might have cash, but you don't. And in California prisons, you're actually not even supposed to have tobacco anymore. That's illegal too. So that actually happened while I was incarcerated there. Smoking tobacco used to be legal in prison in California, but around 2003, 2004, sometime around there, they banned it. I don't remember why. I think they were saying because some prisoners were getting secondhand smoke and suing the state or something like that. It was like, say I'm in a cell with another guy. I don't smoke, he smokes. Then I get secondhand smoke for years because this guy smokes in the cell. Then I get cancer. Well, I'm suing. I'm suing the state. I'm suing, everybody. The prison system. I'm suing everybody, right? And I think that's what started to happen because, everyone started suing. Nobody was suing in the 70s and 60s and even the 80s or whatever. But in the 90s and stuff, people started to sue for everything. So probably somebody in prison eventually sued. So he took out no longer allowed to smoke in California prisons. So people get tobacco illegally, drugs illegally. Nowadays, people probably get cell phones illegally, all that kind of stuff. And so that stuff is in there. Like say somebody smuggles in a cell phone, and you want to get a cell phone, but you don't have cash, then you got to buy them stuff. Now, say something that large. Say, me and another prisoner. Say I smuggled in a cell phone, or I had a cell phone smuggled in. I want to sell it for, I don't know, however much cell phone sells on a black market in prison. Say $100, right? I don't know. I have no idea. We'll just say $100. Well, the guy who's selling the phone might not want $100 in just ramen. So what will happen is, say, okay, sell you this phone for $100. The guy's like, okay, well, I'll give you $100 in commissary. So he'll hand him his commissary list, and you fill it out with the $100 and stuff, whatever you want. So he might want some ramen, some chips, some deodorant, whatever. So the guy who's selling the phone will fill out the other guy's commissary list and get $100 worth of stuff. That's how you pay him. Well, that's one way to pay him, anyways. Another way is you get your family on the outside to pay him. So a guy's going to sell you an illegal phone in prison for $100. You're like, okay, well, I could have my family put $100 on your books, so you don't have to go through my commissary. I just have my family put $100 on your books. Or nowadays, they could, with PayPal and everything, probably just be like, oh, I have my family send you $100 to your PayPal on outside, to some normal account on the outside for his family or whatever, So that's probably what happens nowadays. And nowadays, there's all kinds of different payment systems. You don't even have to go through, these old-fashioned cash or money on your books. There's all these other money systems now. Didn't have that when I was locked up. I mean, PayPal might have existed, but nobody knew about it back then. So anyhow, so that's how that works. But yeah, ramen is a very popular thing. Ramen is basically like bread. It's like flavored bread, if you want to think of it. Basically anything that you could put with bread, you can put with the ramen. So, like say a sandwich, you could put mayonnaise and lunch meat on a sandwich. You could put mayonnaise and lunch meat in ramen. You might take a can of tuna or a can of roast beef, and you could put that on bread on a sandwich, or you could also put that in ramen. So pretty much anything you can put in a sandwich, you could put in ramen. That's kind of the idea. Some exceptions, like you could put lettuce and tomato on a sandwich, but it wouldn't be good in ramen. Some exceptions, but for the most part, or on a burrito. Like say in a burrito, you might put potatoes and eggs in the burrito, and maybe cheese. You put potatoes, eggs, and cheese in ramen. So yeah, I mean, guys would literally do that. I would literally do that. Sometimes, if you're able to get like leftover breakfast from the chow hall, you might make a cup of ramen and put some eggs and potatoes or sausage or whatever in your ramen, and you say kind of have like a breakfast ramen, you know. So ramen is very popular in prison, or it was in 2006 when I left. I don't know about now. So yeah, when I got locked up in 2000, so another thing that California prisons don't have. There's two big things that California prisons don't have that other prisons may have. One, weights. There's no free weights in California prisons, so no dumbbells, no, you can't do bench press, none of that stuff. And the other thing like I said is no tobacco. Tobacco's legal. Whereas if you go to prison in Texas, they might still have that stuff. I think they do. So when I got locked up in 2000, the weights were already gone. They had already took that out. They took it out, I don't know, in the 90s sometime or whenever, I don't know. Because when I got there, because I got actually to prison, I got incarcerated in June of 2000 when I went to county jail. But by the time I got to prison was in November 2000, and the weights were gone. Smoking was still allowed though. Then by the time I said 2003, 2004 rolled around, that's when they stopped tobacco. I didn't smoke anyway, so I didn't care. So yeah, so if you're a weightlifter, you might not want to go to prison. They still have bars, like you do pull-ups. Obviously, you can do push-ups. They have pull-up bars, dip bars, stuff like that. But no weight, no free weights. Guys make their own free weights. Like they'll take a big trash bag and put water in it, or sand, or something like that, and make like artificial weights. It's not the same. Some guys will like squat down and have their buddy like put their legs on their shoulder, like you're giving a piggyback ride to your kid, and they'll pick them up and squat them like that. So you're squatting your buddy who weighs like say 200 pounds, whatever. So they like make artificial weights like that, or think of other things to make weights. And weight is weight, 200 pounds is 200 pounds. If you got 200 pounds of steel on your back, or 200 pounds of your buddy on your back, it's still 200 pounds. The difference is your buddy's weight is not centered. Maybe his left side weighs more than his right side, or maybe this side of his head's bigger than the other side, so weight is not even. Whereas on a bar, it's fairly even. So it's a little bit harder to squat a human than it is like free weights. But they do it. Guys do it. I didn't really do that. Are you almost ready? Okay, guys, we're gonna get going. We're gonna go to Walmart. I know there's ramen on the bed. Always. Oh, Darren's farting. Almost done with my ramen. Anyhow, I'm in this because we gotta get going. That's a little bit of prison talk and ramen. I'll see you guys next video.